The pomp and circumstance of a royal state visit. You're looking at Windsor Castle in England, where President Trump and the First Lady are visiting with King Charles. It is a busy couple of days for the president, as he'll have this royal state meeting, and then he'll go on and meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer tomorrow to discuss a number of issues. Very likely the economy and trade will be top of the agenda, but it wouldn't surprise me if the issue of Ukraine and Russia comes up as well. Again, this is a live look at Windsor Castle, where President Trump and the First Lady are meeting with King Charles at the moment. We'll have more on this throughout the day. In the meantime, we're getting you ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. We're keeping an eye on pre-market trading. As you can see, the Dow and S&P 500 in the green. The Nasdaq is in the red. It was in the green just moments ago. We'll continue to monitor all of this for you. And the moment the opening bell rings and the market's officially open for trading today, we'll take you there. In the meantime, let's take you over to David Brody. David?
Good morning, T. Bates. All right, time now for our daily dose of dollars and common sense with American Sunrise Early Edition host, the guy behind Jake's Take Substacks. That would be the long-suffering Jet fan, Jake Novak. Jake, I am with you on that, by the way. We won't talk about this past week. We'll only talk when they win, so we probably won't talk often. Give us the latest on the Fed drama today, because there is actually drama. Here we go. This is the day we've all been waiting for, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much controversy about President Trump browbeating Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, for not cutting interest rates sooner. So there should be a lot of attention around 2 p.m. Today, Eastern Time, when the Fed will make its announcement about what it's doing about interest rates. Now, just about everybody on Wall Street is expecting the Fed to cut interest rates by a quarter point. Boy, if they don't, if they keep rates the same, you're going to see a huge, massive sell-off today, so you might want to keep your powder dry. That's why when Terrence was just looking at the stock market numbers, everything looked kind of flat. That's what people are doing. They're just being careful. They've made their bets already, but they just don't want to make another bet today. But I do expect them to cut by a quarter percentage point. And then the markets will really be listening very carefully with all their AI programs and their high-frequency trading programs to everything Jerome Powell says at the news conference about a half hour after the decision is announced. The markets sometimes move very volatile in a volatile way based on what he says, and then the next day they think of it a little bit more, and sometimes they move the other way. My point is, if you don't like chills and thrills, you might just want to keep your powder dry today as an investor, but if that is something that you like, this is going to be a good 12 to 18 hours for you.
That's interesting. So just to confirm, I say confirm, you think it's going to be a quarter point. Most people think it's also going to be a quarter point. Could it be a half a point? I mean, is there any chance that he could? I mean, it doesn't seem likely based on the fact that this guy is slow as he goes, actually really slow, too late Powell. But could it be a half a point? And what would happen if it was a half a point?
Well, you know, I think it's really only like a 10% chance of that. But you make a good point. If they are acknowledging the fact that they should have cut rates sooner, that these job numbers got revised for basically the whole Biden presidency revised down, then this would be the smart thing to do, to try to catch up. You know, if you're 10 lengths behind in a race, why not skip a few lengths ahead? It would make more sense to do a half-point cut. But I wouldn't bet on it. I do think he's going to go slow. That's been the problem from the beginning. I think that there's been economic issues, especially from last year, that haven't been addressed.
Yeah, the saying is slow as she goes, or in this case, slow as he goes. But in this case, really, it's very, 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 very extremely slow as he goes. All right, Jake. We're learning more about just how this deal is shaking out to get American control over TikTok. One part of it is really catching your eye, so tell us about that, sir.
Yeah, so we know that there's going to be American investors that are going to take over control of TikTok. One of those investors who will also get the job of basically controlling a lot of the cloud computing aspect of TikTok is going to be Oracle. And so now here we are, David, in a very interesting point in American history where the Ellison family, Larry Ellison, the founder and CEO of Oracle, his son David Ellison, the owner and CEO of Skydance, now Paramount Skydance, you could have one family, a father and son, controlling TikTok, which I believe is just about the most powerful social media platform in the world, CBS, because Paramount owns CBS and all that news division and all that stuff, that media division. And as we know, David Ellison is bidding very seriously to buy Warner Brothers, which would include CNN and all those movie studios. One family. And as powerful as that would be, I still think Google is more powerful and things like that. We could have another discussion. But the Ellison family is about to dwarf, for example, the Murdoch family. People are all worried about them. Nothing compared to what the Ellison family would now get if all of these things come together for them.
Well, what does that mean exactly if that does happen from a monopoly standpoint? And, now we're talking capitalism, we're talking a lot of different economic factors. Because, I mean, if the Ellison brothers actually do this, what I believe I was reading this morning, CBS and CNN, you're looking at 200 million streaming subscribers. You're looking at 170 million on TikTok, on social media. That's 370 million people that they could have de facto control over programming. That's just wild stuff. What does it mean from I guess a monopoly standpoint, if you will, and some of the inherent risks in all of that?
Well, I don't see why the media would be immune from what has now been a green light from both sides of the aisle in America politically, clearly from massive monopolies. I mean, the courts have had an opportunity in the last few years to break up Google, not so much to break up Amazon, although I think they will get that opportunity soon, and they're not doing it. Now, Google was found to be a blatant antitrust violator. I think that Google is de facto, in a scary, very scary way, I tried to say, the only de facto publisher in the world. If your content doesn't show up prominently on Google, you might as well not exist. I know there are other search engines out there, and I love them. But let's be honest, Google has that market share. And I think that both sides in this country have basically said, yeah, be a big, huge monopoly, go for it. And so that's what this is saying to me. The Ellisons now flush with cash because Oracle shares shot through the roof last week. Larry Ellison himself is about $200 billion richer than he was a week ago. And they're going to buy up what they can buy up and not worry about antitrust problems.
Yeah, Jake, we got 30 seconds, but you've got some, President Trump had some advice for Wall Street. You'd like to put it in blunter terms. So what is that advice, Jake, that he's talking about?
I love when President Trump says things that I've been saying for 25 years. Makes me feel good. He said last week, stop with all these quarterly reports. Every 3 months, the publicly traded companies have to report their results. It is a tremendous distraction. It costs a lot of money. And I just want to say, hey, by the way, can you give me a report card on what I just said 3 seconds ago, David? How about now? How about now? I mean, just go about your business. And I think annual reports for some companies, half-year reports for others is very, very smart. And I just can't stand the way that we allow. And we also know that a lot of these numbers are baloney. So really, honestly, get off these every 3-month reports. It would be good for America. It'd be good for honesty in the economy.
Jake going OG, going retro with the baloney reference. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I like it. All right. Time for tea in Denver, the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
I wonder if Jake's Baloney has a first name. Just something that comes to mind. We're getting ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. StubHub is at the podium. The applause is underway, which means the bell is going to ring here momentarily, and then we'll get a sense of where the markets stand as the markets will be open. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are now officially open now that the bell is ringing. And just like that, it looks like it's much of the same. The Dow and S&P 500 still up slightly, but up. The Nasdaq is in the red. The rest of the markets, the rest of our screen here is in the red. Precious metals, gold, oil, also down. Oil, of course, considered the liquid gold, if you will. So we'll continue to monitor the markets throughout the day and let you know how things are looking. In the meantime, when inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think, well, maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Whether as a hedge against inflation or peace of mind during global instability or just for sensible diversification, the Birch Gold Group is believing that every American should own physical gold. That's why they've created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, the Birch Gold Group is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an information kit right now by texting the word America to the number 989898. Plus, the Birch Gold Group can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate in free metals of up to $10,000. The Birch Gold Group is the only precious metals company so many Americans trust, as do the tens of thousands of customers they have. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Text America to the number 989898. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the country is still reeling from the assassination of Charlie Kirk. In moments, we're going inside Turning Point USA to check in on the well-being of Charlie's crew and the young Americans who will continue his call to action. Stick around. More American Sunrise coming your way after this.